Hey Most Amazing Top 10 family, I'm your host Jade Arena, and welcome back to Most Amazing Top 10. I'm a big travel buff. Traveling is one of my favorite things to do. Mainly I just love to go to a new place and try all their food. One day I want one of those food shows where I fly to a new country, stuff my face all on someone else's dime. Sounds beautiful. But if you're going to let yourself be launched around the world, you should probably read the brochure before you get there, just in case. There are corners of this planet that will scare the life right out of you if you're lucky enough to even make it out. And to leave you a little more informed, I'm bringing you today's list of top 10 mysterious towns you don't want to visit. As always, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and hit the little notification bell. Also, stick around for the whole video because I have some dangerous places on here that are close to popular travel destinations. Remember, if you want more Most Amazing Top 10 content, come check us out on Instagram. And if you need some merch, check out the link below. Use the offer code MA10 for $5 off. That means you can get a shirt for like $10, which is a sweet deal. And without taking any longer, let's get into this list. At number 10, we have Cleveland, Ohio. We are going to kick off this list with a very populated city. There's tons of people living there. Why would this be on our list of places not to visit? Well, other than their sports teams struggle to stay above 500 every year since LeBron left, this is also a place you never want to go out at night because it happens to be the serial killer capital of the world. I don't know if there's something in the water or if it's watching the Browns every football season, but Cleveland has cranked out more serial killers than Walt Disney has Oscars. We have Donald Harvey, Anthony Sowell, Robert Burdella, Gary Hendrick, Thomas Dillon, Michael Madison, Edward Edwards, and the Cleveland torso murderer, and the list goes on. Even some of the top-notch dudes like Dahmer cross state lines to chop people up in the Buckeye State. Maybe it's a rite of passage as a serial killer, like how bands want to play Madison Square Garden because once you've played that stage you know you've made it. Maybe serial killers want to rip out throats in Cleveland so they can put it on their resume. At number 9, we have Acapulco, Mexico. You might end up here just to check out the beach and see the crystal clear water, especially in the wintertime. Go to a place that is nice and warm and drink a margarita on the beach while back home everyone's drowning in snow. But if you head there, you're probably going to want to stay on the resort. No trips downtown. This city is a common place for hijackings, illegal roadblocks from rebel forces or cartel, not to mention most of the police and politicians are corrupt and might be more dangerous than the criminals. This place is a hotspot for gang warfare with rival gangs battling each other for control of this territory. The mystery here would be, who can you trust? If the police are corrupt, they're gang members in the street, and you can't drink the water, I consider staying home in the cold. But maybe getting kidnapped by cartel is less harsh than 30 feet of snow. At number 8, we have Dubai. Known for being one of the richest cities in the world, it's possible that there are more exotic cars in Dubai than any other place on earth. But for a place that should be a mecca of health, science, and prosperity with the amount of money flowing through it, it actually has a mysterious dark underbelly. Let's begin with the slave trade. How is Dubai able to create some of the most magnificent modern structures known to man? Well, they hire workers from other countries to come over and do the work for them. Sounds like a great deal. You move from another country to one that is much richer than yours, and then they immediately give you work. The only problem is they take your passport, you become a slave, and they pay you nothing. This has been reported to happen again and again with giant construction companies in Dubai, basically working human trafficking operations, sending out calls to impoverished countries telling them that there's work to be had. Secretly, it's all a trap. Also, if you're a woman, you should know once you cross the border, the law isn't on your side. What kind of upside down madness is this? Next time you're planning a getaway, you should probably choose somewhere where the law isn't trying to kill you. At number 7, we have Juarez Valley, Mexico. It shouldn't be a surprise that we are putting somewhere that's on the United States-Mexico border on this list of places you don't want to visit. All along this border is a hotspot for drug trafficking and is a place no one would really want to live. During its peak, the Juarez Valley was around 60,000 people. Now only 5,000 people live there. Most of them left out of fear of being murdered or extorted by the cartel. If you were to pass through this area, you would see a vast landscape of ghost towns and desert. The setting is so eerie and it makes you wonder why the 5,000 people living there haven't tried to leave already. It should be zero. Well, if I'm living in a place where the only industry is murder and drugs, I might relocate to a city that has a nice safe coal mine for me to work in. This place is so harsh it has been given the nickname Murder Valley. The mystery here is why anyone would ever live here. At number 6, we have Mount Hua, China. If you are afraid of heights, this next place is gonna make you feel like you're your gut is dropping into your butthole. Just looking at this place, I feel like I'm gonna have a free fall out of an airplane. This city is up one of China's great mountains, and it's a main tourist attraction, and it is terrifying. This mountain is considered the most dangerous hike in the world, and for good reason. The scenery is beautiful, but if you want to get the opportunity to gaze at the amazing landscape, you're going to have to walk along wooden planks on the side of a mountain that have no railing, just a big chain to hold on to. Excuse me? Look at this video clip. The mystery here is, why does anyone do this? Why would you want to go to this place? So you can see how far your pee droplets fall when you piss yourself walking across these planks? The boards look like they were made by a 12-year-old who's failing shop class. And there are parts of the mountains that don't even have the boards because they've fallen off. You need to use grooves in the side of this sheer cliff to work your way across. Yeah. No thanks. At number 5 we have Caracas, Venezuela. Just to sum this place up, it has the 3rd most murders per capita in the world. If that's not enough to make you steer clear, then I don't know what else to tell you. The country also has a dictator in power who loves killing protesters who are just trying to fight for their freedoms. Pesky protesters always wanting to exercise their rights and be treated like human beings. But if militarized police doesn't get you, you can hope that one of the many drug cartels will. They will most likely rob you for everything you're worth or kidnap you. I really wonder what would happen if I got kidnapped. I have no money, and I don't think anyone would pay to set me free. I would have to start a GoFundMe. At number 4 we have Fukushima, Japan. If being on a fault line and having a huge chance of getting hit by an earthquake, or being next to an unstable nuclear power plant aren't enough to make you want to not visit this place, then I have one more kernel of information that just might make you go to Tokyo instead. After the earthquake hit Fukushima and the power plant was damaged, there was a massive evacuation. People left their homes and lives behind just so they could get away from the incoming wave of radiation. And what happened to the abandoned city? Well, nature tends to take over, and the forest started to move through the city in a huge way. It has been left behind for nearly a decade now, and with the expanding forest came wild boars who have been flourishing in the radiation zone. Radioactive boars. This isn't a Marvel comic, it's just super pigs that have been running all over the city, and the radiation has seemed to make them stronger. For whatever reason, these plutonium pigs seem to be less afraid of humans than the regular kind. Maybe the radiation has made them smarter, or maybe dumber. Either way, they're more likely to fight. At number 3 we have Pyongyang, North Korea. I mean, there are tons of reasons why this place is mysterious and why you would not want to go there. There's surveillance everywhere, watching everything you do. The secret police will snatch you up out of the streets and then take you to who knows where. And there's also work camps that you can be forced into for getting the wrong haircut. This is for sure one of the most mysterious places on the planet. No one really knows what's going on there except for the high-ranking government officials. At number 2 we have Kabul, Afghanistan. They say deserts are some of the most mysterious places on the planet, and Kabul is smack dab in the middle of one. The landscape seems like a desolate wonder, but if you venture in the city you'll find carnage and the horrors of war. The invasion of American troops left this place in disarray. There are still suicide bombings, Taliban, and public executions. This is not the place you go to create fond memories. The biggest mystery of this place is, where were those so-called weapons of mass destruction that gave the Americans free reign to invade? I don't think we're ever going to get the answer to that question. If you are a thrill seeker and you want to head into this war-torn area, then you better prepare yourself. It's recommended that you take war zone survival training, or you could just go to the Bahamas and take scuba training. One of those sounds way better than the other. At number 1 we have Mayak, Russia. For our number 1 spot we have one of the most inhumane experiments recorded in history. Mayak was a town that was built for one sole purpose: to do nuclear research. This was back in the 1940s and 50s, so you can imagine that the safety precautions were pretty lacking. Almost all of the workers sent over to build the facilities and perform maintenance were prisoners. They were given an exchange. They could go work in the Mayak facility and in return would be given a shorter sentence. Unfortunately, they didn't realize that they were being set up. The radiation levels at Mayak were so high that no one could survive there for more than 5 years. On top of tricking people into fatal slave labor, there were also a series of nuclear disasters that led to the death of thousands of people. Nuclear waste from the facility was dumped into a river that 24 villages used as a source of clean drinking water. There was also an explosion at one of the containment facilities that is considered the 3rd largest nuclear disaster of all time. It was so severe that by 1959, every tree within a 10-mile radius was dead. Alright everyone, that is our list. Thank you all so much for tuning in. As always, like, comment, subscribe, and hit the little notification bell. If you guys are interested in some Most Amazing Top 10 merch, check out the link below. Use the offer code MA10 to get $5 off. That means you can grab a shirt for like 10 bucks. That's a sweet deal. And if you guys need more content, come check us out on Instagram. Until next time, I've been Shade Arena, and my next travel destination is going to be nowhere on this list.